Now, Julia, in focus has been former President Donald Trump's alleged role in the January 6th riot. What was revealed during the hearing?
There were a lot of big tidbits that were revealed during the big hearing last night. We heard the former president's daughter, Ivanka Trump, essentially say that she agreed with former Attorney General Bill Barr's statement or, I guess, belief and that the election was not rigged or stolen, that Joe Biden won it fair and square. You also heard a revelation that a number of Republican congressmen were asking President Trump for pardons after the January 6th insurrection or attack on the Capitol, after they tried somehow to overturn or played a role in trying to overturn the presidential election results. We also had some insight into what happened that day from witnesses. There was a British documentary filmmaker who was embedded with the extremist group, the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers. He talked about how he witnessed a lot of the protesters on the ground that day turn from protesters to rioters to insurrectionists. And of course, you had Capitol Police Officer Caroline Edwards talk about her experience. She fell and hit her head during the riot, and she talked about how she was very much seen as a target during the attack.
What has been the response to all that was revealed during the hearing in Washington?
Well, I think we're going to hear more today since it's just happened a few hours ago, last night's morning here in the United States. But I'm going to be interested to hear about the ratings. You know, a lot of us here in Washington who were impacted by the attacks, who follow politics, we were obviously very interested in this. And obviously a lot of media circles in the United States were interested in it, given the fact that this was a prime time special. It involved sort of the world of media and politics colliding. The committee hired the former president of ABC News in the U.S. to consult on the committee. So, you know, I'm going to be interested to see how many Americans outside of these political and media circles were watching this, because we know that this is this happened a year and a half ago. And I think there are questions as to, you know, how long or how outraged Americans still are and whether they want to move on.
Yet Donald Trump continues to dismiss it as a political hoax and to proclaim the last election was rigged.
He does. And I think you're seeing a lot of Republicans. That was the response to the hearing from Republicans and those defending President Trump last night, that this was a political hearing. And, you know, even though the committee has very much described itself as a fact-finding mission, they want to get to the bottom as to how January 6th happened, what went into the attack, how it can be prevented going forward. I think there are questions, you know, from some as to, you know, the political realm that's really surrounding it. Remember, it's a midterm election here in the United States. You have some political observers questioning whether this will impact the midterms. Liz Cheney, the daughter of former Vice President Dick Cheney, who's an outspoken critic of former President Trump, she's one of the co-chairs on the committee, and she's facing a primary challenger in August in her home state of Wyoming because she has become so outspoken of President Trump and served on this committee. We know that President Trump has backed a primary challenger against her, so that's inherently political in its nature. So you have this fact-finding mission that's really in a world of politics. So it's interesting to see the reactions from both sides.
And Julia, this is the first of 6 hearings expected this month. What's expected to happen next?
I think we could potentially expect more bombshell testimony. I mean, we heard very interesting tidbits from various players from Trump world: Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner, Jason Miller, Attorney General Bill Barr. We heard all of them testifying last night. However, I think there are questions as to who could testify next: Donald Trump Jr., other Trump allies. I think we could get more of a broader picture of what happened that day, before that day, and in the aftermath of the attack.
And ultimately, what can be achieved at the end of these investigations? What's at stake here?
Well, I think there's going to be a fact-finding mission. I think this is very much trying to paint this, you know, it's a way to present what happened, to, you know, present the facts of what happened during the day. It'll be interesting to see how this impacts Donald Trump, if there are any consequences for him going forward. But we'll have to see. You know, a lot of people are labeling this as a bit of a PR stunt. However, we know that there could be major consequences if major revelations are put forth.
Julia Manchester, always good to talk. Thanks so much.
Thank you.